Gaming with Boomers! Yow. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We're playing another Victoria 3 Let's Play campaign here on Gaming with Boomers. We're going to continue our Japanese Shogunate campaign and push Japan into the 20th century. So, be sure to stay tuned. In the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on your favorite part of this episode series, as well as this particular episode. We're going to dive right in. I need to go ahead real quick and load our old game, and that way we can upload it to the new version, as after I hit save. That way we can see some of the new features that are available in-game as part of the Dawn of Wonder DLC pack. So let me just do this real quick. Let me go ahead and make sure I save a new file. I want to save in the new, so we're going to go ahead and save this one. We're going to save to cloud and save on the link as well, so we have that available. Okay. So let's dive right in. I want to show a few features here as we begin. I also want to show you over where we are the last time we played, because it's been a few weeks since I posted some videos for this particular series. First, I want to show you some of the new time pictures here on the channel. Let's see if it's going to do it. It's not. Alright, let me make sure I have that enabled. If we go to our settings menu, graphics, let's go to theme. Let me make sure we have the day and night scale. It is up, done. Speed, sun hours, 12. Time of sunrise, 8. 7, and let's say, timer 12, enable manual time. So the time of day to a specific hour. Okay. Alright, now let's go ahead and see if we can get this to work now. For some reason it does not want to work. Let's see. It's about noonish. For some reason it is not wanting to show it. I don't understand. So what's showing on previous versions, it may be that this is the older version that's not showing it. But we can go ahead and continue for the main campaign. We can always go back and adjust that later on. Anyway, as we continue, we are looking at implementing dedicated police force to limit kind of the power of the shogunal party, because eventually we're going to try to oust them to bring about a more kind of modernized and industrialized Japan, and the shogunate are very old-fashioned, don't like that. So we have a infertile grounds pop-up event here. It's finding both Japanese public are opposed to political parties, frustrated the agitator that's supporting the dedicated police force has decided to retire. So we need to try to convince him to stay. We could go ahead and add a little bit of government expenses and add his popularity. So let's go ahead and do that, because I really want this to pass. Meanwhile, we are also improving our relations with Russia and China in case we need their support during the Civil War. As far as building, we are currently looking at increasing our tooling workshops, logging, and then moving from that into some agricultural. Again, this is kind of to build at the base of Japan, move it from sort of a peasant-based economy into sort of a working farming community or farming population that then can be promoted into an industrialized workforce as we become largely more industrialized. I believe we also, if we look at our policies, already have free trade as kind of a consequence or a bonus of a diplomatic event we have with the United States. We are unfortunately still stuck under traditionalism, though I would like to, if we can, start moving towards at least agrarianism, which is going to help break up some of these really bad modifiers. As we look at that, we take a look real quick at our technology tree. We're currently working on baking and then increasing our technological output by increasing our production methods. So let's dive right back in and go ahead and get this law passed and get these buildings built. Got it on super fast speed here. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we're starting to see The changes part of the Dawn of Wonder DLC includes some time-lapse changes. Not time-lapse changes, but some kind of visual effects regarding time of day, as it kind of goes through the day cycle here and there. I guess need a little bit of time to catch up. But you'll start to see, as your country industrializes, you'll start to see, obviously in the less developed nations, you're going to see more darkness, but as your technology and industry increases, you'll start to see more kind of lit up cities and different kind of cosmetic changes like that. It's going to look pretty neat as we kind of move into the modern century. We are still working on... Okay, so we were able to pass, kind of in my talking and in my fast forwarding, we were able to push forth dedicated police force. Let's see what other laws we can go ahead and start pushing forward. We currently have freedom of conscience. State religion is not going to help us at all, because it's going to add more power to the Buddhist monks. Unfortunately, I think they're kind of, in their style of play, they're very limited in kind of the things that they allow. So they're more for some public, some state religions, but I want to say I think they're very against a lot of mass industrialization and sort of the education of the peasantry that comes with industrialization. So we're working on our tools. Let's go ahead and take a look real quick at our cost of tooling. Looks like right now wood is a little bit more expensive while tools are very cheap. But I would like to have a tooling boom as we go ahead and start increasing our agricultural industrial methods. Tools are going to be essential, and especially when we start to move to better construction sectors or increasing their size, tools are going to be extremely important. So having access to a large cache of tools is going to be very important for our growth and our industrialization. So let's take a look here at our market. Right now, our most expensive goods looks like our fruit, furniture, and meat, followed by clothes, kind of luxury clothes and opium, kind of those luxury goods for our kind of aristocracy. Wood is fairly high, as is paper, but once we start moving away from wooden tools, that will go decrease, and we can put that towards increasing our paper supply. As we continue here, let's look at tooling. Like I said, tooling is going to get a little high, but once we get all these tooling workshops built, we can begin to build more wooden tools, which are going to add better logging camps. With our logging camps, we can start developing into agriculture. After agriculture, we'll probably start looking at moving towards iron tools and iron frame buildings to increase our construction sector and to start moving a little bit more into a little bit more technological spot. We look at here, so we got cotton gin, our lathe. Let's look and see. Right now we're currently researching agriculture and the lathe. Let's see if we can go ahead and add some more to our piece here. Bessemer process is going to be important for steel, as is the engine. Engine pump's going to be big for mines. Mechanical tools, about 4 years. We're working on the lathe now, or next. I would like to probably go ahead and start increasing these. Steel is going to be important. Let's see, as far as our military and our societal gains, we have colonialism. Stock exchange is not incredibly important now. That trader up bonus, now that we're now free trade, is going to be important. So I want to go ahead and add that to the queue, maybe before steel. And then start moving towards these right here. So you have your modern sewage. It's going to increase your land trade, your infrastructure. We want to go ahead and increase our banking now that we have banking unlocked. And then followed most likely by savings. So right now we're running a budget. Or surplus, but I want to go ahead and make sure that that's on the list as well. So like I said, we'll do some agriculture or some kind of industrial, and then we'll move into some economic technology as well. Let's go ahead and unpause and keep moving on. Alright, so it looks like Russia is attempting to kind of consolidate its territory in the Caucasus. Looks that... Like I said, we're still working on our buildings here. Let's take a look real quick at our private constructions. Looks like they're working on a textile factory. As far as government, we're looking at, again, increasing our our tool production. Unfortunately, we are running a huge deficit as far as wages and, not wages, our profit margin right now for our tooling workshops. So, while tools are really cheap now, still only a 6 use. So we need to see what options we can do to increase tooling to go ahead and have that price rise up. So let's take a look at some options. If we move to tooling workshops and do iron tools, the cost of tools will drop, iron will skyrocket. So let's look at starting here. So if we increase harvesting tools for our rice farms, we're going to decrease the cost of laborers. That's not entirely beneficial at the time. We'll have more tools and more meat. So we do want to decrease the cost of meat. This is going to shoot up our tool price. So that's actually going to sort of balance out and kind of solve 2 problems at the price of 1. Dye plantations, I don't believe any of these I can do. Logging camps, so we move into sawmills. We'll have more machinists, less laborers. Wood price will drop significantly, and tools will go up. So that's good for us, because we want wood to be extremely cheap, and then our tools will go up. The only other thing I'm concerned about is if we increase the machinists and our laborers go down, we may not have enough qualifications to fill those spots. We're going to go ahead and try it first just to see. It looks like now there's a deficit as far as tools go. So right now we're doing livestock and logging, but that will hopefully start to make these tooling workshops profitable. And as you see, they are. Right now we have currently 2. We're pumping out about 6 tools right now, but we're also not complete. We have only about 1,000 with a 10,000 max employment. And the workforce is laborers and shopkeepers. So laborers can get pulled from the peasantry. Shopkeepers typically get promoted from within clerks and farmers. So this should be able to sort of balance out. So let's go ahead and take a look and start to see this increase. Hopefully with that increase there, this will sort of solve itself. As you can see, yeah, we're from being a negative $1,000 dollars or pounds or whatever you want to call it, we're starting to run a deficit almost 2,000, so almost a complete swap. Looks like right now tools are still fairly expensive, and there's about a double race now. Sell orders are still slowly moving up. Hardwood with the British is currently inactive, which is perfectly fine because I believe it's an export route, which is perfectly alright with me. If it's inactive, we can go ahead and put that more to China, which is definitely a closer ally anyway. Alright, so let's see. Let's look at our construction. We are still working on these tooling workshops. Again, I like to, when I do these building, I like to increase some increments of 5. I think it's a really well-rounded number. Oh, here we go. Alright, so we have a petition from the samurai. They want to pass colonial exploitation. So let's take a look and see what the ramifications or consequences of having colonial affairs. So right now we don't have any kind of colonial expansion law. And unfortunately, other than the samurai, it's looking that it's extremely unpopular. Almost to the point of radically opposition from the shogunate and the agriculture class, the Hyman. It looks like both sides are very opposed. Now, if I were to find a middle ground, let's see. We could try it. Let's see. It may, as long as it doesn't cause a rebellion, I'm willing to at least go ahead and put it into option. Right now we have a higher chance of exploitation. That basically means that your colonies are going to be mined for resources and labor rather than it being about kind of bringing your own culture and your own religion into that particular area. Right now it's not something that in the early game I'm overly concerned with. We're kind of want to worry about expanding to our max capacity, our own home islands, and then looking at expanding later, which is kind of falls a little bit around the historical features of Japan at the time. They were definitely isolationists. They're kind of only worried about their own kind of cultural and religious and political affairs at the time, prior to the Boshin War. So I take a look here at the clock. We're running right about time. So with that in mind, got a little bit done. Was able to expand a few features of the game as well as going to get our next level set. If you do want to see more episodes, it's perfect time to stop. There is a rebellion, so we'll be able to put it down. Be sure to stay tuned and find out. In the meantime, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Let me know some other strategies you had, either playing this particular country in this campaign, or other countries you'd like to see me do on this channel. With that in mind, we thank you for joining us. Be sure to stay tuned. And with that, I say goodbye.